Okay folks, Phil Davis. We're going to talk about balcony gardening right now just for a little bit. Just want to show you all what I've done to my pepper plants. That is hay on the top in a container. And these are tomatoes I actually grew from seed. I want to say maybe about the beginning of July, believe it or not. And these are other ones too as well. And these are 5-gallon container bags. So as you know, we've used our own compost from our composter as a soil base, so it eliminated us needing a lot of extra soil. This is new soil that I had to add because I had these two and those other two in one when they started from seed. Once they got up well enough, I actually removed them and separated them. The transplant went well, and they go all the way deep down to the bottom here. Now, we've been using our compost as a good soil solution, fixing the soil and adding nutrients. And you can see here from our cucumber plant, it works very well. I've created my own trellis just using, you can see here, I have these little hooks that I managed to put in. These are like normal hooks that you would hang pictures on, that you would buy. And I just used some yarn up there to string them up using this here. So I've been able to vine, the main vine goes all the way up here and it's coming around to this side where I'll bring it back down, and then eventually I'll bring it and hook it over to here or somewhere else so it can vine down and clip it off. So the other thing is too, you can see how many tomatoes we have coming on. And one thing I will tell you all is that for cucumbers, you see this one right here? That is a female cucumber right there. This is a male. So when female cucumbers, when it opens up, the flower opens, you actually have to pollinate using the pollen from the male and the female. It's not like tomatoes where they don't touch. You actually got to take something. I usually use my Q-tip here. I'll go inside the male when it opens up and then swish it around a little bit, and I'll go to the female plant once that opens up, and I'll self-pollinate. So I made a mistake in the beginning of trying to shake them, because on tomatoes, the actual male part is part of the flower. So you shake it and the pollen goes down and inside and it goes there. And you can see we got 1, 2, there's another one over here. I can't always find them. 3, 4, there's another one up there, 5 that's going to be coming in soon. There's another one here, 6. We've already harvested 2, and that's really good to see them coming in. Oh, and I forgot about this guy, 7. The first one we harvested was right up here. It was like literally almost down, very long. Very good, and you can see the wind is blowing and the trellis is holding. It's meant to give some give. And what I've had to do is string up, as you can see, a new segment is coming up. I've had to string up new segments here to make sure that I support it as it's growing. Now, eventually I'll clip it off, but it's really good to see it growing. This white part here, this is caused by thrips. There's something that they just eat at the leaves. I mean, it's very little you can do for the most part, but it has decreased from my previous times. This actually doesn't look that bad comparatively. There is a spray that I use. I have it in my Amazon store that I spray it down, and it really has decreased the amount of thrips. If these get about 50% covered in this degradation here, you want to make sure you cut off the leaf itself, and I do spray the soil as well. I put the hay down. This is hay, straw hay, that I'll do eventually when these get up, when the soil gets up a little bit more. I tried something different with this one. With tomatoes, these little hairs here have the ability to grow soil, and I've done videos on this before about the ability to grow this. You can actually raise the dirt up as this gets higher. These will actually grow roots, these little hairs here on the sides. Tomatoes are the only plant that you can actually do that. They will create roots. So I've actually planted these a lot deeper. And as you can see, I've tried over here is actually, I split open the bottom of those pots there, those plastic pots, and I actually used it to make the soil a lot higher. So specifically to actually get the roots a lot deeper. And you can see that root growth down here is, I mean, this is how far it goes down. So our peppers, which we got from a neighbor, one of my wife's clients, they actually were mostly eaten. So I've had to grow these using our composter, and our compost that we use, once I've shown you, the compost has it gets stuck at the bottom, so we just put some water in there and we let it sit, and it creates a nice condensed solution that we use as liquid fertilizer. So that composter that I use, the Alkin composter, is great. It reduces our food waste. But you can see here too as well, I'll show you up on this, right here in this cucumber plant, that's where I did not fertilize that, or not fertilize but pollinate the cucumber there. This is a female. That's how you can identify a female from a male. They actually have the little cucumber plant attached to it. This is one that did not get pollinated, and these are males here, where you can see on the male plant, these males here are ones without it. You got another cucumber coming in there. I'm not sure that one will do very well, because like many of the cucumbers, you can start seeing it get darker and it gets lighter. That one looks a little light. You can see down here the cucumber looks a little faded. Looks a little faded down there. So, and as you can see, there's not a lot of bugs up there. Most of the leaves are healthy. I do inspections on the plants. So you can see here, this is from thrips, like I said before, and every plant has their different one. Now I will say this, you can see a little bit of that ant. This white stuff here is diatomaceous earth. I've done videos on that before. And here's the thing about ants. A lot of people say ants are not great. You don't like ants down the decomposing matter in your soil. The problem with ants are ants also fight off the good insects, because they like those aphids that they can harvest nectar off of. So things like ladybugs, they'll fight and kill ladybugs, and they'll keep aphids because they can use aphids to harvest from them. So they try to keep the bad pests for themselves, but the bad pests are allowed to live like bad tenants, and they destroy your crop. So ants have a both beneficial and non-beneficial. What you want to do is monitor and control your ant population. But in our soil beasting here, ants help to break down this soil, and you see these flakes right here. This is actually the composting stuff. I let the leaves down here because why waste and throw out the leaves? These are, I've clipped the bottom leaves. Like if this gets taller, I'll clip this side here to let this grow up. And you want to fill this up with soil, because these hairs here on your tomatoes, they will actually grow roots. And I've done this before on my previous years, but I want to get these tomatoes tall like that tomato over there. And as you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You can see those little hairs there. Those hairs will grow roots. They will grow roots for sure. So, and you can see here what I've done is I'm trying to make sure that the roots grow up nice and tall. Now my goal is to actually get something where I can have the roots be very tall, maybe like waist high, so you build a strong tomato plant. So I've tried earth. It does work. Doesn't really work. What really has worked is the spray, because I've tried to limit the ants, because the ants will find a way inside. And as you can see over here, the ants actually crawl in right into the base foundation in here, and that leads right into, we'll find ants on the inside of the house too as well, our apartment. So balcony gardening, as you can see, it's worked. Cucumber and the pepper, we got them from a neighbor, and deer had eaten the top part, so they weren't thriving. They didn't look like they were going to make it, and honestly, I didn't think they were going to make it. Tomato we had to get rid of because it just was not doing anything, and I had to grow these from seeds very late in the season. But again, late in the season, it works. And the good part about it is that why I like this one is that when I water, I can water just inside here, inside the plant, the little pots, and I don't have to water the bigger part of the soil. It'll go straight down to the roots, and that's fine. Same thing with my cucumbers. The hay, straw hay, lets it, it keeps that moisture in. One thing I got to constantly do, like I said, to come out and monitor, these are little weeds that come up, because there are always some leftover seeds in this straw. You got to get this out of here. You'll have weeds that'll grow. So, and as you can see, the pepper plant's doing very well. Right where this flower is, that's where your peppers will grow from. You can see we've got a few flowers in there. 1, 2, and these little bulbs coming up here. Plant looks very healthy, very tall. And again, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try out and see if these tomato plants will do well and their roots won't compete. And sometimes seeds, I got my seed bag, my heirloom seed bags. They're 55 seed that I've gotten off Amazon. They're all organic heirloom seeds, and I'll keep these seeds and we'll see how it does. Sometimes you don't have to have a perfect garden, all right? I'm going to tell everybody this. You do not need a perfect garden. Sometimes you'll do experiments, things will or won't work out. Sometimes you won't have a great yield, but it is about experimenting. So while you might say, oh no, you know, I will only do one plant for here, sometimes things work, and that's what gardening is all about, is learning along the way. It's an education. Your experience, your actions are what lead you to become a better gardener. Looking here and seeing this. Now look, so I got a cucumber that's growing upwards, and again, I'm not sure, it's questionable. See how it's dark here, it gets light. We'll see how it does. But as you can see here, this cucumber still has a flower to it, and it's very prickly. And one thing you want to make sure is that with red or dark green like this, they'll all get very dark green. There's a reason. What you want to do is make sure the cucumber does large seeds. You can harvest a cucumber at any point. This size. In pickles, you could even, these little ones, these little mini pickles, you can let them get as big as you want, the more seeds you're going to have. So this is a little thing you see on my flower, and that's fine. I've seen ants inside here, and then they've gone inside the male ones. Ants will help to pollinate too as well. I don't know what that is, but like I said, I've seen this little fly. I always go and check my plant and make sure I'm looking out for what's there. And this yarn, I've just strung up. There's nothing really complicated. I just looped it around the hoop and then brought it back down so it can support. I can always unattach these and bring them go different ways. But this one, I really did a good job of bringing this one up and then bringing that around, because what I want, I'm trying to get this and train this to grow up. Just looped it around every so often and break it down. And you've seen this done with tomatoes. It can be done with cucumbers. And what you'll see in later videos is that I'm going to bring this down like such, and then I'll eventually top it off by cutting off the tip, and I won't let it grow anymore. So that way what can happen is it'll just explode in growth all out here. So if you all have anything that you think would help. And what I did also use is something called a fruit bloomer. With tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, when they start to grow to fruit, which means that you're getting cucumbers, you're getting tomatoes starting to show, you might want to use a fruit bloomer, which has a different nitrogen mix, lower nitrogen, more phosphorus, and more potassium. So that way you can actually get better yields on your fruit. You want to switch up what you're doing. It's great to have good nitrogen, high nitrogen when you're starting to plant out, because it gives you good leaf growth. But nitrogen when you want to fruit. When you want a fruit, you need to have less nitrogen, more phosphorus, more potassium, so that way you can actually get better fruit yields. So that's a trick. You got to make sure you do it. And I'll have links down in the description section below about which fruit bloomer I'm talking about. And honestly, we haven't done anything but use our composting compost to fertilize our actual one. And I got regular potting soil. I got organic potting soil. I didn't get anything with any extra added boosters, anything else like that. And you can see everything is thriving very well. They probably need a little, but you know, you can see the flowers are a little droopy, but I did mess with them. And you can see these big old leaves we have here from the pepper plant, and that's just going to be very good. And we got a little pre-potters down here and things like that. But again, live action. I don't always just voice over and give you all informational videos. I'm actually out here doing it. We're in the process of getting a home, or looking for a home by which I can large scale this, so you guys will see this kind of amp up a little bit more. But again, I do the things that I talk about in my videos on a smaller scale, and you can do apartment balcony. And I've got a balcony here. It's not very big. I mean, I'm at the edge here. You can do that. So it looks sorry to be long-winded, but I wanted to give you all good information, show you what I'm doing so you can see this. So, and also my kids, they tasted the first cucumber. Son said best cucumber he's ever tasted, because most of the time we get from store-bought. So I will tell you this, when you get your own food and you grow your own fruit, it is your food, it will taste much better than anything you bought at the store, because the nutrients, it's nutrient dense. That's what it is. It's not because you grew it or use organic water and all of that crap. What it is that it is nutrient dense. That's what is the benefit. Any which way, Phil Davis signing off. Take care, folks. See you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe.